Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast but didn't know where to start? Well, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor is your one-stop shop for podcasting. They have tools that you can edit, add music, all right from your phone or your computer. They'll even distribute your podcast so that it can be heard everywhere like Spotify, Apple, and even on Google. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
It's time to pour it, stir it up, and serve it up. This is the Morning Coffee Podcast Show, your unofficial wake-up call. Here to help you live your best life and revolutionize your relationships, faith, inspiration, and love. Start your day the right way with Morning Coffee. Here's your host, Tanisha R. Atkins.
Good morning. You're tuned into the Morning Coffee Live Show. I'm the host, Tanisha R. Atkins, back with another great episode for you this morning. As you know, Morning Coffee is your unofficial wake-up call on a mission to provoke you to change and spiritual growth so that you can live your best life and revolutionize your relationship. If this is your first time tuning in to Morning Coffee, I want to welcome you over to my podcast. I know that there's no coincidence that you happen to find this podcast. I believe that you are tuned in for a reason. However you found us, whether you were just kind of scrolling along on social media, or maybe you scrolling around on Spotify or iTunes, and you said, let me check out Morning Coffee. And guess what? I believe that you're here on purpose. Well, all season long, we have been talking about we're all in this together. That's the theme for season 4. And we just are wrapping up a series that's called Parental Advisory, Beware of the Parent Trap. So that's our series that we started about a week or two ago. And today is the last episode on that. This series, we've just been talking to the parents about being in tune with your children and about making sure that you're not on autopilot and that you are really being actively involved in their growing and their training, so that they can be better people. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Just how to be better people. You know, as we mentioned throughout this series, and this is my series close on this, you know, we've talked about several different ways to train your children, how to watch for signs for your children, how to discipline your children, how to support your children. We've pretty much kind of covered a lot of areas. But the ultimate goal that I want you to remember when it comes to children is that you should want to help them to be better people. Because remember, these children have to grow up. And, you know, I had an interesting conversation with my sister today. We just kind of were talking about, you know, how as an adult, some people still deal with issues that started in their childhood and they never really got any therapy for. They never went to talk to anybody or a counselor. And how sometimes, you know, it can really cause your adulthood to be hard. It can cause your adulthood to be traumatic. Just depending on the things that you go through. And here's the thing. We know that we don't live in a perfect world, and there are going to be some things that your children are going to be exposed to, even as much as you do your best to protect them. But just making sure that you are, I can't stress it enough, just being in tune with your children. You know, watch for those signs. And if it's something that they're going through, making sure that your children know that they can come to you without you overreacting, without you, just want to put them out the house and disown them and things like that. You want to make sure that you leave the door open, because when you have a child that is willing to come sit down and talk to you about whatever it is they're going through, you can help them to navigate their emotions. You can help them to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And the ultimate goal is to help them to be better people. Even though they're small children, they are still people. So don't look at children like they're just, these people that we have to take care of. Children are people, and we have to help them to be better. We have to help and guide them and teach them. You can't not be asleep at the wheel. And I know I've said this over and over this season, but we're wrapping up. This is the last episode, and I just want to make sure that you have it. Like, you literally have to have a plan. If you're going to train and raise successful children, you're going to have a plan to do that. As adults, we all know that we all really should be reading books, and there's so many books out there that can help you with things. Maybe you're an adult and you're dealing with negative emotions or whatever. There's a book out there that can help you. And so I said that to say, when I say have a plan for your children, making sure that you have a growth plan, teaching your children that life is not about playing video games, but that when you want to go higher, you have to feed on the right things. So making sure that your children are in church, making sure that your children are reading the Bible, teach them that, making sure that, you're teaching them to read and not just read comic books, but that you're teaching them to read. Right now we're in the middle of an election, and a lot of people are going to the polls and they don't even know what a Democrat is, what a Republican is, because you can't just rely on the school system to teach your children everything. So you have to make sure that y'all have these discussions at home. And if they need to go to the library and check out a book or to learn about history or whatever it is that needs to be done, you have to help them. Create a plan. What is the plan? How are you going to train these children? What are we going to do? Are we going to make to-do lists at the beginning of the week? Or are we going to sit down as a family and decide, we're going to take a vacation so we can spend time together and turn off all our gadgets? One of my friends, she's been on the show before. Her name is Dr. Tiandra Gordon. And she has something that her and her family does, and I love it. Okay, so what they do is called the rose and the thorn. So we all know what a rose is, and we all know what a thorn is. So one of the things that they do after everybody gets home from school and after everybody gets home from work, they all sit down at the dinner table together. They sit down together. That's because that's a part of their plan to say, we're going to make sure we're going to talk to our children. So as a part of that, everybody's going to eat dinner together, okay? So they sit down and they take turns at the table going over roses and thorns. The rose stands for everybody tells something good that happened throughout their day. Tell one thing, something good. And then they do the thorn portion. Everybody tell one bad thing or one not so good thing that happened in your day. And she shared that on the show before. And I'm actually going to replay that episode for you on tomorrow. And I love that because 1, it gets her children talking. 2, it gives them a chance to observe what exactly is going on so that they can say, let me see if this is something I need to address. And that's what I mean when I say get a plan. You have to be your mission. You have to purpose to want to teach your children to be better people. And then again, you have to lead by the example. And so that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go on and on and on about things that I've already gone over in the series. I encourage you to go back through, listen to the series, because I really think that this is one of the best series that we've done here on the show, just giving you steps and tips and practical things of how you can train your children, and I'll just say this, like I've been noticing that my niece, I have one niece and then a whole bunch of nephews, but I've just been noticing that her attitude has been a little different. And we all know teenagers, they go through this spell where they kind of zone out, but for me, it's just something. I've been talking to her more. I've been calling her and texting her and sending her scriptures and really trying to get into what is bothering you. Because to me, I kind of low-key see she almost kind of want to act like she's really going through something and she really doesn't want to talk about it. But I have just been letting her know that I am here. If you want to talk, it's an open door policy. You can tell me anything. I'm not going to overreact. Depending on what you tell me now. Don't tell me something just off the wall, because we're all human, right? So I may, I let her know that though. I may not react in the best manner, but I'm not going to go overboard and just screaming and yelling at you. If it's something that I need to take a minute to get my emotions together and then come back and deal with you, then I'm going to do that. But be involved in your children, love on them, and don't be so hard on them because you never know what they go through at school. Just like you go to work and you deal with crazy coworkers and crazy managers and crazy customers, and you come home, sometimes you don't feel like dealing with your children. Sometimes it's like that for them. Sometimes they go to school and deal with cranky teachers and crazy children who are raised in dysfunctional homes, and then they have to come home and then hear you going off because you had a bad day. Like, you just want to put God in the center of your family and always ask him and to give you a plan and trust him to take care of your family, because we are, we know that we're spirits and stuff, but we have this flesh that we're dealing with, and sometimes we miss it. And sometimes you can do the best you can and your children can still turn out kind of, like, oh my God, where did I go wrong? But I want to say to you, just trust God. Ask God for a plan for your family. Pray over your family, pray with your family, pray for your family, pray together with your family. Teach your children to speak things into existence. Teach them that life is not always perfect. Teach them how to understand when they're being emotional. So at the end of the day, they can be better people. And when they do go through, they'll have the training than things that you taught them to rely on to get themselves out of the pit. All right. So that's it for this series. That's it. Tomorrow I will play a replay from my episode with Dr. Tiandra Gordon. I think she came on in season 2, so you may hear some references about season 2, but just know that it will be a replay, and that way you can hear what she has to say about family. And then that'll completely wrap up our series for this parental advisory. Beware of the parent trap. And I want to thank you all so much for tuning in every day. I'm seeing you guys. I see the numbers, so I know you're listening, and I appreciate that. And I wish you just the best with you and your family, and I just speak blessings over you and your family, you and your children, and I just declare that your children are going to be blessed children, and that God is going to give you the wisdom, the patience, the favor, everything that you need to raise championship children. All right. Well, y'all have a great day, and I will see you back on Monday, because tomorrow, remember, we're going to get a replay. So I'll see you back on Monday. We're going to start a new series. We're going to get back into our being dysfunctional and functional. We're going to get back into just talking more about that next week. All right. So y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you Monday.
Every day, I wake up with purpose, starting my day with faith and inspiration. Wouldn't have it no other way. Live, laugh, love. Let's make the world better. Give somebody a hug. Let's bring the world back together. With morning coffee, let's have morning coffee. Morning coffee. Start your day with faith, inspiration, and love. Start your day with faith, inspiration, and love.